I feel like post-pandemic, the senior living industry is now understanding what the home care industry has always understood, and that they're in a labor shortage business. But nobody has tapped the chief operating officer of a senior living community on the shoulder and said, hey, you know how you've been operating with one HR person proudly over your large continuous care retirement community with a part-time admin assistant? That model is now gone. You think you have great culture in your community. However, caregivers will stay with you. Anyone that's on a healthcare team or home care team will be with you after 1 year. If they are 90% will be with you after 1 year if they've been referred by another caregiver, another person on their staff. So if you think you have great culture, do a double check. Check out how the frontline people are actually being treated. And what we found is that there's really 3 to 5 core things that people working in aging services are looking for directly from their employer to want to continue to work there. The number one thing is friendliness. And so I think there's this culture change when it comes to aging services, and the leaders in aging services really looking at their models saying, you know what, our old HR model that we have one HR rep, one HR VP, and she's the hardest working person. She's a project manager for the campus. That's not working anymore. You need multiple people in those roles. You have to double check on culture. Are people really, I mean, because what really is happening in the home care and the healthcare adjacent community is that people working, caregivers, LPNs, RNs, are telling their friends, you know what, don't work here, I'm biding my time, I'm moving on somewhere else. Or they're having the discussion, you need to work for Matt, he's open to cozy, he's a great guy, you need to, that's the referral, you need to you need to consider working for Cozy Home Community. But the friendliness part of this, so there is this culture in healthcare and healthcare adjacent services where there is, you need to prove it to me first before I really invest in you as an employee. Kind of like how the WNBA tried to get Caitlin Clark to kind of toughen her up initially, like have her pay her dues.
Right.
That have you pay your dues mentality in healthcare and home care is just not working. You need to find people who are advocates who can invest in others and in younger talent, and do that in a way where they are giving away that help and assistance freely. So you need to find, I think, cultural leaders, and you really need to, communities, everybody needs to double check on their culture. We just did a caregiver survey where we asked them, 4 key questions about their overall satisfaction of working at our locations. And, we had a number of locations that really had high responses, and we had certain locations that really had maybe kind of beat their chest on what great culture they had, but then they have 0 responses come back. So that tells us, like, is there really culture present in your location, or is there not? And so we have to ask the question and say, to us, like, if they don't care about given, maybe it's not present. So I think there is this opportunity for every healthcare and home care adjacent company, or healthcare adjacent company, or home care, or senior living, anybody working aging services, to double check on some things on how they're treating employees, whether or not they're investing in the community, whether they're providing a professional environment, and are they, and the fourth area is, are they providing training and education opportunities regularly so people feel like they're moving on a path.